Hello, Divine here. Welcome back to yet another episode of my style evolution, which is really my level up journey. Today, I want to do part 2 of part 3 of my style evolution. This is the sad part of my story, and I am very happy and very grateful that right now I can sit here and talk about that period of my life and not cry and not be sad and laugh about it sometimes. And yeah, I'm so proud of myself. This is the time when I broke up with my long-term boyfriend, and that was tough. And I decided to leave everything behind and come back home. I told you I slept at my friend's place, so the next morning I boarded a bus, went to town, and it was a desert. No vehicles, no people. We were smuggled out of Nairobi illegally because everyone was on lockdown, and we were told to pretend that we are from the hospital. So we were supposed to act sick, and I didn't need to act. I looked sick because I had had it. I wanted to see my mother. That's the only thing I wanted. If anything was going to happen to me, it was going to happen to me in the process of trying to go home. I was not waiting for anything. It was a small Toyota car. We were like, I don't know, like 4 people, like 6 people in the car. It was weird. They were all men. I was the only chick in there. That's another factor that really made me scared. There were police on the way, and they stopped the car to check and ask where we were from. And we were supposed to lie and pretend that we're from the hospital and tell this weird story. Sometimes we are late before the roadblock, and then we walk past the roadblock, and then we meet in a set. It was such a dark period of my life, and I just thank God that I made it. My mom was waiting for me, and when I saw her, I was thrilled. I was thrilled and relieved and happy that I was out of Nairobi. But I was out of Nairobi heartbroken. I was out of Nairobi without anything. The only thing I carried in my backpack was my pieces that I had made that I cherish up to today. Those are the only things I carried. But that's the only thing. I wore my favorite shop with my favorite pair of jeans, with my favorite sneakers, and my favorite change coat, and that's it. That's everything. Nilitoka nayo Nairobi and came home. So after coming home, after a while, we were happy that at least made it home and we are okay. At least I'm healthy and I wasn't infected and everything. So yeah, so that thank God, nobody was infected in our house. They didn't bring the virus home. And I'm just happy. It's hot, it's really hot. That's why you see me doing this. So that was a very sad moment in my life, but it kept getting worse because I came back heartbroken because that was my long-term boyfriend. That was a very big part of my life that ended. I left behind my shop, my stock, my jewelry, my tools, my everything. In the previous video, I told you guys I had a panic attack in the shop the last time I was in the shop. And what triggered that panic attack was that just the pandemic. I had these dreams and I had a momentum and things were moving, and then all of a sudden there is a pandemic. What are the chances of that happening? Like, I was like, what are the chances when I'm just finding a rhythm, having a clear plan and seeing how my plan will be, and having goals for the future, planning for the future and everything. Then there is a pandemic. I couldn't get it off my head. And first of all, I was in denial. I was like, oh, it's not serious. It's just propaganda. It's not serious. Then things started getting serious. People started going home. The economy started changing. And to add on to that, that landlord already gave me an eviction notice and told me that like he wants to demolish all the shops from there and just build something new altogether. Like, what? Demolish? I just got this shop. I'm being evicted. There is a pandemic. And thirdly, I'm heartbroken. And I was just like, I can't. My brain just went on override. And naturally, I'm an overthinker. So my brain was just went on overdrive thought. Every thought was just like, I was overwhelmed by negative thoughts of hopelessness, of just defeat. And I was suffocated and was running out of breath. I don't know how long that took, but it took a while, and I woke up and they said like, this is it, I can't do this. Furthermore, there is a pandemic and everything is, I needed to go home. That was just time. After I came home, I fell into this depression where I felt defeated, I felt like a loser, I felt hopeless, I felt helpless. I just felt all the negative things you could think of. I cried every night, every day for months, just thinking about all the things that I have left behind, all the things that could have been. And what made it worse, I didn't know what to do now. A person who I need my life to be organized, I need to have a plan. Otherwise, if I don't have a plan, I don't know how to freestyle life. I didn't know how to freestyle life without a plan, without goals, without things that you're trying to achieve. And with that, I didn't have any reason to wake up in the morning. For myself personally, I just woke up every morning for my family. They were here and I didn't want to impose on them my emotions and my feelings, hid my depression. I cried by myself when nobody is around. I went someplace where there was no one and just cried and cried and cried. Things that I had worked for, my style, my shop, my everything, my self-esteem, my confidence, everything was down there. Like everything was off. I was back to square one. Not even square one, square zero. I didn't have any hope. I just wanted to hide in the house. I didn't have any friends. I'd left all my friends. Plus, I just didn't want to impose anyone with whatever was going on, because I couldn't explain it. I couldn't articulate in words. I was just showing up for my family, because already I felt like I failed them. I thought I'd come back with a job. I thought I'd come back with something tangible that I show my mom and she'd be proud of me. I felt like I had disappointed my mom greatly. Like, she invested in me, she gave me things, she encouraged me, and then I come back as a failure. Oh, that was the heaviest burden. Feeling that I have failed my mom, and then that was just the heaviest burden. Where it was bad. It was bad. I have cried. I cried until I ran out of tears. I used to cry and there were no tears. I was tired of crying. Like, I wanna cry but I can't, because I don't have the energy. During this time, I went to an isolated place, like on the river banks, and I was just seated there crying. And then someone thought that I wanna jump into the river. Imagine! And they came and helped me and talked to me and asked me questions, and I just found myself just poured to that person. I just talked and just cried, and they told me like, it's okay. I didn't wanna jump. Then, to be honest, I didn't wanna jump. I felt like if I didn't exist, it would be nice. I would stop feeling everything that I was feeling if I stopped existing. Because if I felt like if this is existing, if this is being alive, this is being here right now, I'd rather not be here. But I've never trying to actually not stop existing. Yeah, because I had family and I had people around me that I wanted to show up for, because I thought that that's the least I can do. The fact that I'm here with nothing, the least I can do is show up for you and just be there for you guys, In that era, I had zero style. I did not care about how I looked. I did not care about confidence, self-esteem, and the things that I want to do with I didn't care. I didn't even eat. I didn't sleep. I was just a zombie during that time, and I didn't care. And it lasted for a while, because the rest of 2020, that was what I was battling with. Because when your personal life is falling apart, And then the whole world is falling apart. People are dying, people are doing this. It's even 1,000 times worse because it's hopeless. It's hopeless. It's like it's a wall. It's like you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Like this is it. The whole, it's not just you going through this, the whole world is going through this. So if you want to say something, like you can't tell someone that I'm going through this and that. Everybody is going through all that. Everybody is going through something in that 2020, and it was tough. But I'm always grateful for 2020. 2020 had to happen for me to be here, right? Because if the pandemic didn't happen, breaking up with my boyfriend, with my ex now would be harder, because I was already thinking about leaving for a while now. And when pandemic came, it was just a good excuse to disappear. And my shop was being demolished. So it was so perfect that the pandemic was there for me to say, like, yeah, it's also the pandemic. It's not me. It's not that I failed. It's not that I miscalculated. It's not that it wasn't meant to be. It's the pandemic. You know, it was easier to deal with those emotions given that you could just offload some of it to the pandemic. And I'm also grateful that it happened because it brought me back home. Ever since I was a little girl, I felt like running away and going will not be home. It brought me back home, and I am home right now. And it's the best thing that ever happened in my life. And then also grateful for 2020 for that period, because it made me face my dark side. Because it was not going anywhere. The pandemic for the longest time wasn't going anywhere. Nothing was gonna change anytime soon then. So you had to sit there. You had to sit there and accept it and see it and be it and face it long enough until you're not scared of it anymore. And right now I feel like it was important for me to go through that period, for me to grow, for me to find something new, for me to get rid of my old thoughts. 2020 gave me a clean slate to start over, to write anything I wanted. So it's for me to decide, like, what do I want to do? And I'm very, very grateful for 2020 because it forced me to let go, because nothing was in my control. I'm also grateful for 2020 because got rid of all the necessary things that I was always carrying along, all the unnecessary baggage, mental and physical baggages. 2020 is the year I learned how to just be. You're not going anywhere. You're not going here. You're here. And I want you to be here and look at me and just stay here. We don't have goals. You're not going here. We're not doing this. You don't have that. I left all my friends, my boyfriend, my shop, my everything. It was just me and my family, and that was it. It was the saddest part of my life, but it is the most important era, the most important time of my growth, of my life, of who I am as a person, because I was forced to face everything else. My childhood trauma, my relationship trauma. I was forced to face everything. My overthinking issues, it gave me time to understand myself. To me, 2020 was the best year of my entire life. I am grateful for that pandemic. It pushed everybody in the corner, and you were either to break or blossom. And I'm glad that I am among people who just came out of it stronger, and that was necessary for me. That was necessary. I needed to be pushed in a corner to actually change significantly and truly. And in this era, there was no style. The style was zero. What I wore, I didn't take pictures. I didn't talk to anybody. There's nothing that I'll show you here that era represented. But I'm very grateful, and it was the most important evolution of my lifetime. For the next episode, I wanna do when I was trying to get back on my feet, and now that will be part the next episode. And just thank you for hanging out with me. And yeah, bye. See you next time.